Fiona Wells was 32 years old when she learned that an empty chair could make a sound. Not a sound you hear with your ears, but one that settles into your chest and stays there. She had spent 14 months planning her wedding, waking up every morning at 6 o'clock to sit at her kitchen table with a spreadsheet open on her laptop, tracking every detail with the kind of care most people save for things far more important than a party. She addressed 85 envelopes by hand because she wanted each one to feel like it mattered. 42 of those envelopes went to people she considered her own. She sent the invitations 4 months early because that was the kind of person Fiona was. She thought ahead. She gave people time. 2 weeks after the invitations went out, her brother Garrett announced that he was throwing an engagement party for himself and his girlfriend. He chose June 15th, the same day as her wedding. Not a week before, not a weekend after. The exact same date. When June 15 arrived, Fiona stood at a beautiful old farmhouse tucked into the green hills of the mountains and looked out the chairs on her side of the aisle. 3 people sat there, 3 out of 42. Her father was not among them. He was at Garrett's house, sitting in a plastic lawn chair, drinking something cold while food cooked on a grill. He did find a moment to reach out to her, though. While she stood at her wedding cake cutting table, her phone buzzed. The message from her father read, "What did you do?" She did not cry. She turned the phone face down and went back to her husband. To understand how she arrived at that garden with those empty chairs, you have to go back much further. By the time Fiona was 16, she was already doing the kind of work most adults avoid. Her mother would hand her a shoebox stuffed with crumpled receipts and tell her she simply didn't understand the tax forms. Fiona filled them out. She spent long stretches on hold with insurance companies, so her mother wouldn't have to deal with the headache. She called the dentist to schedule her father's appointments. When her brother Garrett got into car accidents and his insurance rates climbed, Fiona spent entire nights searching for cheaper policies on his behalf. By 14, she was cooking the holiday dinners. Her mother said she was too tired. Because Fiona loved her, she believed it. The differences in how the family treated its 2 children were not subtle. When Garrett turned 16, their parents bought him a car. It had a dent in the door, but it was a gift. When Fiona turned 16, her mother told her they were too poor for another car. She rode the school bus until she was 19, when she bought her own car using money she had earned tutoring other students. Her father, Donald, had one guiding principle in the household. Her mother knew best. He said it when her mother decided Christmas would always be held at their house, which meant Fiona would always be the one cleaning. He said it when Garrett was given the largest bedroom. He said it when Fiona's strong grades never made it onto the refrigerator. When she left for college, she started keeping a folder. She wasn't entirely sure why. She saved receipts, records of money transfers, screenshots of text messages. She kept a log of every time she helped someone or covered a cost. No one asked her to do this. She just felt, somewhere beneath the surface, that she needed to. That was where things stood when she met Marcus at a work conference in Atlanta. He was thoughtful and calm, and he noticed her face while she was reading a message from her mother asking for $800 to help Garrett with his rent. Over the 3 years prior, Fiona had given her brother $8,000. She had covered his car, his apartment, his medical bills. He always said he would pay her back. He never did. Marcus looked at her expression and asked if it was bad news. She said simply family. And he understood. Then he asked her something she had never been asked before. He wanted to know if her family ever called her just to find out how she was doing. She tried to think of a single example. She couldn't. Marcus came from a different world. His mother, Helen, sent birthday cards to everyone she cared about, including the man who delivered her mail, and she always tucked a $20 bill inside, even though Marcus was a grown man. He kept every card she had ever sent in a box. It was not a box of receipts. It was a box of love. After she met Marcus, Fiona kept her records differently. She made a new spreadsheet and told herself it was just organization. Deep down, she knew it was something closer to protection. When Marcus proposed to her under a magnolia tree one Saturday afternoon, she said yes without hesitation. He told her he loved her, respected her, and had chosen her. She called her family to share the news. Her mother didn't ask to see the ring or hear about the wedding. She started talking about Garrett's chances of getting a better job. Her brother sent a thumbs-up emoji. Her father typed congrats, but didn't call. Helen, meanwhile, baked him a lemon cake. It wasn't perfect, but it was made with the kind of love that made it the most beautiful thing Fiona had seen in a long time. Helen held her and told her she was family now. The planning took more than a year. Fiona chose a farmhouse in the mountains with long wooden tables and string lights. She taught herself calligraphy by watching videos online and practiced every night for 3 weeks, so the envelopes would feel personal. Her mother never asked about the dress. Garrett never confirmed whether he was coming. Her father only wanted to know about parking. Helen went with her to tour the venue and was there when Fiona tried on her dress, crying because she thought she looked beautiful. Fiona's own mother had said she was too busy to come. Then came the night her phone lit up with Garrett's engagement announcement. He and his girlfriend were celebrating with a party, June 15th. Fiona messaged him immediately to ask if he realized the date. He said his girlfriend's family could only do that weekend. He'd call her wedding just a party. She told her mother, who sighed and suggested Fiona should be happy for her brother and that maybe people could make it to both events. They couldn't. The 2 locations were too far apart. One by one, relatives began declining her invitation. Cousin Amy, Uncle Brian, others. She noticed a pattern. Every person who said no was someone who spoke to her mother regularly. Then her Aunt Rosemary called. Rosemary was the kind of woman who noticed everything. She asked Fiona if it was true that she had wanted a small, private wedding with no family present. Fiona told her that was absolutely not true. A silence followed, and then Rosemary said she would be there no matter what. 3 weeks before the wedding, Fiona sat in a dark room with her laptop. 3 people from her side of the family were coming. Just 3. Marcus sat beside her and held her hand. He didn't try to fix it. He knew there was nothing to fix. He just stayed. She told him she wasn't going to cancel. She wasn't going to beg anyone. She was going to get married. When Helen found out what was happening, she called her friends, her relatives, and anyone who would listen. Within days, 30 more people had agreed to come. They were strangers of Fiona, but they wanted to make sure she wasn't alone on her wedding day. The morning of the wedding, the mountains were blue and clear. Helen gave Fiona a small pearl pin that had belonged to her own mother. No message came from Fiona's family. Not a single word of luck or love. She walked down the aisle alone because she had decided not to ask her father. He had already made his choice. The chairs on her side were nearly empty, but she kept her head up. Marcus was waiting at the end of the path with tears in his eyes. They made their promises to each other, and for the first time in her life, Fiona felt the full weight of what a real family could feel like. Later, while they danced and ate lemon cake, her phone buzzed. Her father's message read, "What did you do?" Something had gone wrong at Garrett's party, and the answer, it turned out, involved a truth that had been hidden since before the invitations were ever opened.